Now today, Brazilians are bidding a final farewell to the football icon Pele. After a 24-hour wake at Santos Stadium, attended by hundreds of thousands of people, including the President Lula, his coffin is now being brought through the streets of the city ahead of a family funeral later on today. Well, joining me now is our sports reporter Jean-Emile Jamin to talk to us a bit about those tributes for Pele. And Jean-Emile, just tell us a little bit then about what's been happening today, but also in the previous 48 hours or so.
Well, it's been immense, and you can just see from the number of people that you can see on screen there, most of them Santos and Brazil supporters. What an influx of emotion, of outpouring of grief and mourning, but then also celebration of the man it's been. And it all started when his coffin was brought from Sao Paulo down to the stadium where he played most of his football, the Urbano Caldeira Stadium in Santos. He played there from the age of 15 up until he left club football at the age of just over 30. And that was just an incredible sign. We saw actually as he was brought in, his coffin, it was held by one of the pallbearers, his son Edinho. And there was his song that Pele himself composed for him to play on guitar. It's called Eu Sou Pele, I Am Pele. And that was a song continuously played as hundreds of thousands of mourners lined up to see his coffin, upon which there was a funeral service. The newly inaugurated president, Lula, was in attendance along with FIFA head Gianni Infantino. And, of course, Pele's immediate family, the likes of his wife, Marcia Aoki, she was also there. And then the procession, which we see now, passing by Canal 6, where his mother, Celeste Arantos, still lives at the age of 100. And it's going to finally end, I don't know at what point, because there is just so much in terms of the crowd procession. I don't know what time it's going to really take into effect in terms of that funeral service where his immediate family is going to be, and that is at the Memorial Necropole Ecumenica, that 14-story cemetery where he is going to be on the 9th floor. 9 because it was the shirt number his father Dondinho wore as a semi-professional footballer, and he will be able to overlook the Santos Stadium in his death.
Well, let's just have a look then at those images. These are the latest images we have for you out of Santos, Brazil, as Pele's body makes its final journey through the city before that private family burial Jean-Emile was just mentioning there. And Jean-Emile, as we look at these pictures, I mean, you mentioned that figure of 230,000 people that have turned out today in Santos. We can see the crowds there in the streets. Why have so many people turned out? Just give us a sense of what Pele meant to Brazil, whether you were a football fan or not.
Well, you have to think of what Brazil was pre-Pele and post-Pele, and he changed everything. He put it on the map as far as a footballing powerhouse was concerned, but beyond that, even post-career, he changed the image of Brazil. He never aligned himself politically, that might have helped, but he became a UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, he became a sports minister, he post-war, he went to Nigeria. And this is just a kind of anecdote about how far-reaching his influence was. He went to Nigeria in 1967. There was the Biafra civil war taking place. And for the 48 hours that he was in Nigeria, there was a ceasefire. So the man even stopped a war. He composed music. He did so many things beyond what he actually accomplished on the pitch. And then obviously on the pitch itself is where he will always be remembered, elevating that Brazilian Ginga style, the jogo bonito, that quick interplay football, which was just so enterprising. He won 3 World Cups, never been matched, and unlikely to be matched in the centuries to come, we can possibly say, winning his first one at the age of 17. And that all basically happened when he was a Santos player here. Most of these street names, most of these buildings are probably going to have some kind of element of tribute to Pele afterwards. The port is being renamed the King Pele Port, the biggest in Brazil. There's just so much that the world is going to take from his legacy and how Brazil will remember him.